Hello and welcome to my new video. Today I will show you how I made the Amalfi dress from Hey June Handmade. This is what the dress is meant to look like, and if you want to see more versions of it, you can search for the hashtag Amalfi Dress on Instagram. First I needed some fabric, so I ordered a very lightweight cotton. This is what it looks like. What I noticed right from the beginning is that the fabric is kind of sheer. I mean, it doesn't really show up on camera, but yeah, here you can see, you can see where my neck is and stuff, so I was afraid that maybe my underwear would show. So I decided that I would use 2 layers of fabric instead of just one in the front of the bodice, and also for the skirt. But for the skirt, of course, in the front and in the back. In the very beginning, I sewed the 2 layers for the front of the bodice together. The next step was to sew in the 2 darts for the chest. Then I sewed together the shoulder seams of the bodice. Then it was already time to gather the sleeves. For that I sewed 2 rows of gathering stitches. And when pinning the sleeve to the bodice, I gathered the sleeve accordingly. Then I sewed the facing pieces together and afterwards sewed them to the neckline. For this I also had to understitch them. Now the bodice was almost finished. All that was left to do was to sew up the side seams and the seam of the sleeve. Then it was time to add the pocket to the skirt. For this, I layered 2 skirt pieces on top of each other, so the skirt would be layered later on. The pocket also had to be top stitched. Once both pocket pieces were in place, it was time to sew up the side seam of the skirt. The skirt is almost finished. I had to add 2 rows of gathering stitches on the top of the skirt, and when pinning the skirt to the bodice, I gathered the skirt accordingly. For sewing the skirt to the bodice, the instructions suggest sewing a French seam. This seam will at the same time be used as the casing for the elastic. After the seam was finished, I added the elastic into the casing and sewed up the casing. Now the main construction of the dress was done and I tried it on. And I noticed it was a little bit too big, so I had to alter it. I did this by taking in the back a bit. And now it fits perfectly. The last 2 steps were to hem the sleeves and the skirt. And this is how my Amalfi dress turned out. I really enjoyed sewing this pattern. It is fairly easy and I think even a beginner that only has basic knowledge of sewing can make it. After sewing the shirt for my last video, the instructions of the Amalfi dress were a dream. They are very clear and easy to follow. So to summarize, if you like the look of the dress, I can recommend it for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If it inspired you to also sew the Amalfi dress, tag me on Instagram at sew_al. As you probably have noticed, my channel is still very small, so feel free to like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell, and also check out my Instagram. Thanks for watching, bye!